Alright, today we're going to talk about color mixing. We're going to make a color wheel together. I'm going to start by showing you how to use a compass to make a nice circle with even pie slices. So we're going to start by sticking the point of the compass into our paper and then swirling it around to make a nice circle. You can see it fills up a lot of my page, so I have a good surface area. From there, if we want to get a hexagon sort of shape, I can stick it into the edge of the circumference and make a little dash, and then I stick it into the intersection at that dash, make another one, and I keep doing that all the way around. And you can see I've gotten all the way back to the beginning. Now I'm going to switch over to using a pencil and a ruler, and I am going to connect my intersections. I'm going to make sure that I cross that middle point. And there I have my pie slice is divided into 6 even spots.
So I'm going to add my 6 colors here. 3 of them already exist. They're my primaries, red, yellow, and blue. I actually have a 4th primary, magenta. So I'm going to split this red pie slice in half so that I can add magenta to 1/2 of it.
If I know I want this to be my red and this to be my magenta, then I will write that, and I'm going to do that all the way around. So if I have magenta, I know that one's going to be making purple or violet. I know that mixing magenta with blue makes violet. Then I am going to skip for my secondary. My last one is yellow. Blue and yellow mix together to make green. Yellow and red make orange. I could make even more extra pie slices if I wanted to add my tertiary colors. Tertiary colors are the ones that are in between your secondary and your primary. So if it was between red and orange, it would be red-orange. The first step to actually painting my color wheel is to decide which one to start with. I always like to start with my yellow when I have a nice clean yellow here and I have a clean paintbrush to start with. I do that so that because the yellow is the weakest color. If I get even a tiny speck of any other colors into the yellow, it's going to taint it and it's going to feel like it's mixing a new color. So I start with my yellow, it's the weakest, and then I move on to my magenta, red, and then blue. After I have all of those painted, we move on to mixing our secondary colors. The kind of brush I like to use for this is one that has fairly stiff bristles. I've chosen a angle flat brush here because I like that I can get into a point at an angle for the point of my pie slice.
It's okay if it's not totally perfect. I could use masking tape on the edges to keep it nice and clean, and I can also use a tiny bit of water as I'm brushing in to make it look a little bit smoother. As I move into my next color, magenta, I'm going to rinse my brush really well and then dab it with a towel to make sure it's nice and clean. Let's do red and blue next, blue being my strongest color, so that's why I end with it.
Alright, now I am ready to mix my secondary colors. My secondary colors are the ones that are going to go in between. I have some formulas to use to make my secondary colors because we talked about how yellow is the weakest color. Blue is our strongest color. So our formulas are going to be making orange, violet, and green, but it's not going to be equal parts of each color. I know I need some yellow, and I know I need some blue, and if I want a color that's right in between them, I'm not using equal amounts. What I'm going to do is take 1 strong scoop of yellow, like that, and I'm going to use 1/4 of that amount of blue. And I'm going to mix it together. I don't think I got quite enough blue, so I'm going to add another touch. And once I feel like I've got a nice mixture here that seems to be right in between my 2 colors, I'm going to paint it in. So this seems like a nice middle green, I didn't make very much of it. If I wanted to make a little bit more so that I could fill in more space, I would start with a larger scoop of yellow, and then I would move on to adding a quarter of that amount of blue. Orange. So red is stronger than yellow, but it is not quite as strong as blue. So I'm going to start with a scoop of yellow, and I'm just going to use half that amount of red. I'm going to mix that together. Ooh, I got too much red. I am not going to add more yellow to this color because yellow is our weakest color. Instead, I'm going to take some of this color, just a little, what's in the paintbrush, and I'm going to mix it into my yellow. It is still looking a little bit too red. This happens to be a very strong red. So again, I'm going to add some more yellow. I always start with my light color and I add my dark color to it. So I'm going to take a scoop of my yellow, and I'm going to take a scoop of my dark color, my dark orange, and I'm going to mix that together. That looks a little bit better to me. I am much happier with this orange. Looks like it's nice and in between the red and the yellow. Alright, so first I'm going to show you a mixture of red and blue. I think I need another squirt of blue. I'm going to show you how red and blue, so remember red is my weaker color and blue is my stronger color, so I'm going to start with my red. I'm going to take a scoop of that, and then I'm going to use just a half a scoop of blue. So I'm going to mix that together. Red and blue, we've always been told red and blue make purple. And technically that is true, but also it doesn't necessarily give you the color that you want. If I were to mix red and blue like I just did here, the color that I get is this color. It's a beautiful color. I'm not going to lie. I love it. But it's not the purple that I was really expecting. That's why I have magenta. Now, keep in mind that magenta is not pink. It is not a color that can be made. You have to have magenta for this to work. So I'm going to take my scoop of magenta, and I'm going to take my half scoop of blue, mix it together, and this is really the color that I was expecting before. I'm going to make a little bit more of it. It's a pretty small amount. So this is probably the color that you were expecting to see when I mixed the red and the blue. And there you have it. That's a full color wheel.